Yeah. All right. Kicked off recording. We are live. Welcome to Cloud Robotics Working Group meeting, 27th of January. I think we have a new member, a new guest. I don't know how to refer to it, but Kevin, hi there.
Hello.
Wondered if you'd like to give a brief intro to yourself.
My name is Kevin Kipkorir. I enjoy robotics. I learned about ROS quite some time ago, so I've just been entering into meetings, trying to hear what's going on, just trying to see what's cutting edge, just learning.
Great. It's great to have you along. Today we are looking at Cube Edge. So we had a guest talk here who was talking about Cube Edge, and now we're planning to look at some of the examples, the setups, and try it for ourselves and see if there's any feedback we can give back to Moya to help them along. And also it's an experience for ourselves as well. Notices for a couple of quick notices. One is you pointed out that the OSRF calendar invite had gone. I'm getting that back. I sent an email and they put a new one in, but they put it in for Tuesday, as far as I can tell. So okay. I need to I need to figure that out. But thank you for pointing it out. I had not looked at that. But it means that it's because they only book a year of meetings at a time, which means we are officially over a year old. Hey!
Congratulations!
So that's cool. And then the other notice was about next week. I've got a couple of people interested in giving talks, but not nailed down on times. They need to clear talks with their relevant departments. So I'm hopeful that will happen, but it's very unlikely to happen next meeting, which means next meeting is most likely to be another general catch up and or let's look at some tech type meeting.
Good.
But a general catch up is more likely. So that's it for notices. Let's dive in. I'm not sure how to do this with the recording because I want to show what I'm doing at the same time as everyone is still on call. Maybe if I screen share myself looking for things, that'd be the best thing. We're a professional outfit here. So if I present my Firefox, then the recording should catch my Firefox and the participants. Yeah, that should work. All right, so Cube Edge, what were you looking at for tutorials? What are our possibilities? Is it in documentation, Giovanni? Okay, I think we've had a freeze. That might be my network.
No, it's not your network. I can hear you fine. It's Giovanni's network.
Thank you.
That's how his name is said.
I had no idea. All right, well, we'll carry on without. So I guess there's this documentation page. So Kevin, I don't know if you're familiar with Cube Edge. The short version of Cube Edge is that if you know what Kubernetes is, Cube Edge is a way of using edge machines as deployment targets for Kubernetes. So you can have robots as nodes in your Kubernetes network and deploy software to them. So it integrates with like a very standard system, which is Kubernetes, but lets you do more things. And we're also hearing about Cilium, which is their newest technology that they're partnering with. I guess they're partnering with the technology rather than the group. I'm not sure about that, but
I think it's I mean, Cilium is a quite known plugin for Kubernetes, not just KubeEdge, but Kubernetes in general. So the Kubernetes has this set of network plugins that you could use. There's several ones: Flannel, Weave, Calico, and now Cilium is probably one of the very successful ones at the moment.
Cool. I'm a basic beginner of Kubernetes, so interested to learn more. You might have to drive this one, Giovanni, if I'm.
But this is
going
why
off track a lot.
I was asking you which tutorial you wanted to do, because Tomoya has quite an extensive list of tutorials where he actually connected the Kubernetes cluster with the CubeEdge nodes. But to do it, the requirement is you need to have a Kubernetes cluster first. So you need to either install that one on your machine and then have another device, or use virtual machines if you want to spawn up these things. But this is why I was asking which one you wanted to do, because I quickly, just 10 minutes before the call, I quickly ran through reading what they do, and there's a lot of steps to even just to do the setup. So that's why I was wondering what you were looking at.
Okay. I had not looked at anything. So it was just, let's see what tutorials are available. If we need to set up Kubernetes in order to use it, I guess it'll be a slower session, and we'll make a note in future to at least skim the tutorials.
To do some homework. I also didn't have time. My one of my daughters has a belly bug, so today was a bit of a hard day.
Got it. Well, thank you for looking ahead the amount you did. If only I could have set up Kubernetes in advance.
Well, let's see. I mean, let's follow this guide. But I also didn't do it. So
okay, so I was in the right place according to the GitHub. Try some examples on examples. Well, you could just hyperlink that, but okay. Oh, that's a lot of examples.
Yeah.
That face detection in the cloud sounds pretty cool. I don't know if we'd be able to do that because we don't have a Zigbee.
No, I don't have one either.
Yeah, might have to give that a miss. I don't know how many of these are sort of hardware specific. I guess a lot of them are just at edge, so maybe that would work just to run something on a PC. But I guess if you want to take a look as well, we'll figure out a good one to follow.
Yeah. I'll also have a look here.
Hi there, welcome in. We're taking a look at potential tutorials to follow for CubeEdge.
Mike, would you mind sharing the link to the page you're looking? Because I didn't see which one you're looking at.
I'm on temperature demo.
Thanks.
So ideally we want a temperature sensor for this. You know, I do wonder if there's nothing that we can just get up and running with, if there ought to be, you know, some kind of Docker Compose setup that lets you see it in action before you start trying to push to an actual edge device. Maybe that's feedback we can give.
I think I see something on Docker. I think bullet number 6.
Ooh, bullet number 6. Is that from the examples list? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one.
From the link you sent, the link I see here.
Oh, okay. Collecting temperature at edge, I think it was. And it was... build the mapper to run in Raspberry Pi. Yeah, so I think you're building a Docker image to run on the Raspberry Pi, but it's still going to need hardware to collect the sensor readings. Plug in temperature monitor.
Then maybe they should they should like create a simulated sensor or something.
That could be nice. I think normally people go on the software side too much, so it's quite cool that they've got so many edge devices that they can work with. But one might make sense. This is, I imagine most of them are Raspberry Pi. Okay, this one looks like it'll work without any extra hardware. This is the Apache Beam analysis.
Oh, sorry, it was mute. If you look at the prerequisites, also this one has CubeEdge as a prerequisite. So the thing we have to begin with would be to install CubeEdge on a device. And then that would bring you to the documentation of CubeEdge for the getting started. And that would also bring you to the dependencies, which is a Kubernetes cluster.
Yeah. Let's, I'm going to switch this to grab my terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Did that work or did I just cancel it?
No, we're just.
I cancelled it.
Ourselves.
Great. So did you say which one was it that would be software only, except for kube control?
I don't know if it would be, any would be software only, but you can try to just install the application on a Kubernetes cluster. So you have kubectl, but now none of these are, well, the Apache one is the one you wanted to say that was only.
Yeah, I think it is software only.
Apache Beam, yeah.
Okay, well, we've got Docker and kube control installed already. That's a positive sign. It's launching Docker desktop. I think that should work. Yeah. Okay. So I use Apache Beam. Very little about these kinds of things.
No, me neither, and I don't even know what it does. Probably something that processes MQTT streams.
It looks like it, yeah. Reading exceeds a value, then it gives you an alert on a topic.
Yeah.
Which, I guess that's something you could use for robotics.
Yeah. And then how do they? So they pull the container, and then you have kubectl, but do you have a cluster to use kubectl against, or you're using your local machine?
I'll use my local machine.
Okay.
Kube control. I seem to remember there being some demo network you can set up pretty easily with Kubernetes. It's like a teaching tool.
Probably Flannel, which is probably the default overlay network. But if you're using a single host, there's not even need to set up a network. I mean, it does it by itself.
Okay. That sounds like it might be okay. Minikube is the thing I was thinking of.
Yeah. So you already have a Minikube cluster on your machine.
How do you know that?
No, I'm asking because you have installed kubectl, but
I'm pretty sure that's. At one point, I decided I should look into it.
So you have the command.
Here we go.
Yeah. So you
Creating VirtualBox VM. Okay.
Yeah, it says virtualization support is disabled.
Okay.
You can try with the driver Docker, as it says.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Start. Unable to resolve the current Docker CLI context default. What?
I do have access to a Kubernetes cluster, but the question is what is the next step actually? Let's see here. So it pulls the image, it has a deployment, gets the pods.
Yeah, I'll try running without Minikube.
Mm-hmm.
Steps from here to set up prerequisite environment. Here we go. What steps? Okay, I'm a bit confused on how to get started to begin with.
There's top left, getting started, third entry there. But you see, dependency, that's what I was telling you today. Dependencies Kubernetes cluster, not just the Kubernetes cluster. You need to be the admin of the Kubernetes cluster because to set up the connection between the kube edge and the Kubernetes cluster, you need to install these administration tools. So that's quite a requirement. For instance, the cluster I have access to, the Kubernetes cluster I have access to, I am not the admin. So I
Okay.
can't do that.
Oh, I see. So it looks like it wants Linux, just Linux.
Okay, yeah. Well, why are you saying just Linux? I mean, it's still running a Docker command, no?
It's instructing you on how to save it as a...
So yes, that's a binary for Linux indeed.
Okay, yeah. So it is looking like we need something running in the cloud.
Yeah, we need 2 Linux boxes, one that acts as the Kubernetes cluster per se, and the other one that will act as the KubeEdge node. So we need a bit of prepping for and I would even say it is probably worth to set up the environment before the call, because setting up the infrastructure will take most of the time. And then running the examples will be probably easier once the infrastructure is set up.
I think you're right, yeah. I wonder if, well, we could have a go at trying to set it up now. I can use my AWS account, or we can leave this for next meeting where I can have it set up in advance.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying to do a setup in advance, because there might be too many things that are not working out of the box. Starting from I wanted to use a Kubernetes cluster I have access to, and then I discovered I need to install this KE-adm tool as an administrator of the cluster, and I cannot. And the other thing I wanted to connect to was a Raspberry Pi, which is in my office, through the VPN. And now, before my connection broke down because the VPN was not working well, so that somehow broke up my setup for the moment.
Yeah. Okay. I think in that case, we'll leave the KubeEdge for next time.
Yeah, we need some preparation work for doing it.
What I might do, I think one thing, what I want to do, or what I'm tempted to do, is get a Raspberry Pi. Actually, I do have a Raspberry Pi 3. So if any of these work, I think there was an LED, Raspberry Pi LED. Control an LED light connected to a Raspberry Pi. That's something that I could have a go at getting set up. But at that point, I'll be setting it up, joining the meeting, and being like, "Hey everyone, look at this."
You have to show it whenever you have it. Oh, I have for playing music here for my daughter, I have a couple of Raspberry Pi Zeros and this thing, but I'm not sure KubeEdge runs on the Raspberry Pi Zero. This is why I wanted to use the Raspberry Pi 4 that I have in the office there. And that's probably more likely to run all these demos that they have here. Although most of them require really devices like LED, well, no, security at edge, Bluetooth demo. This is in Bluetooth. They all have it. Play music, which is the thing I also do, but not through a KubeEdge, so that would be interesting. Play music at edge through Twitter. That's also interesting. No, but as I was telling you, the documented. So I thought that the tutorial you wanted to use. This is why I asked at the beginning of the call. I thought that the tutorials you wanted to use were these ones. I'm going to paste them here because Tomoya has a really, really long list of tutorials, which he calls Ross_Kubernetes. And here he has the full setup, but indeed there's a bunch of steps. And the first one is install Kubernetes packages, set up Kubernetes cluster, and only then you start with setup KubeEdge node. So it's really after you have done all these things, and then you can try the ROS2 demonstrations, and they come later on.
Yeah. Okay, I think in that case, what I can do is get something set up in the cloud. For next meeting. If we can have a Raspberry Pi ready, I'll try and have my Raspberry Pi ready. And then we'll try and I'll try and do as much of the setup for this as necessary to get to the ROS stuff. And then we'll spend the meeting doing the ROS setup stuff. Yeah. Which I think is the more interesting stuff to this group anyway, seeing how to set up cloud clusters.
Indeed.
Not excited.
I will also try to do the same. I will do it with I will have to carry the Raspberry Pi home, and then I will probably just use my machine as you were doing with the Kubernetes cluster, with the Minikube Kubernetes cluster locally, just to try it out.
That sounds good. Between the two of us, we should have some hardware to play with for next time.
These tutorials need quite a bit of infrastructure preparation. With every time you have to use Kubernetes, you need a Kubernetes cluster. That usually takes a bit. Yeah.
I think having some hardware and a cluster for future tech demos will be useful as well. So, okay, well, I think that's it on Cube Edge for now. We'll return with more later. So if anyone's got anything that they'd like to talk about while the working group is together, please go ahead.
I had a request. If it's possible, I also have a Raspberry Pi here. If you are successful, you can send probably a description of the steps you took, and then I'll try replicate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we could try and even do that in the meeting if you're available for the next meeting, that is. I mean, if we've got one cloud cluster set up, it would be interesting to see how easy it is to connect another node to it and see some different options. So yeah, thank you. That could be interesting. Thanks for volunteering.
The next meeting, Mike, is on the 11th, right? Because I'm
on the 10th.
On the 10th, yeah, because I'll be in Italy. Okay, I will see if I will have the Raspberry Pi with me or not.
Well, I'll try and have one either way. So don't stuff your luggage full for the sake of the meeting.
It's not a big thing. It's more a connectivity issue. I'll be at my parents' place, but it's okay.
That makes sense. All right. Well, unless there's anything else, we'll call it there. Thanks for coming, everyone. Sorry that it turned out to not be that fruitful in the end. I think there's a lesson learned there. Read ahead.
Yeah, we should have read ahead. It's okay. Also my fault. I should have. I saw it, but I saw it too late. So
sorry, just in time to worry me. All right. Thanks again, everyone. See you next time, which again is the 10th of February for next meeting. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.